Why don't more men want to get married?
More men don't want to get married because we're severely disadvantaged in the courting system.
It's not about a courting system.
No.
It's not about a courting system.
I could
It's about
possibly
love.
have my life ruined.
Marriages are about love.
We present to you a Rome Productions.
What's good, black people? If you're a first time viewer of this content or this video, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me take this off for a second because the water, you can hear the ice and stuff like that. I don't want that being in this video. In this video, I am doing a critical analysis upon the basis of why men aren't getting married, you know. And this is a narrative that I've been seeing with the red pill community, the men go their own way community. And I've been seeing this narrative go on for quite some time now, at least for the past few years. And somehow they're saying statistically men aren't getting married at the particular rate as they used to decades ago. And people are saying, well, why is that? You know, and the reason for this isn't because of trust issues. It's not because of trauma. It's not because of psychological issues. It's not because of emotional issues, particular problems concerning growing up in the household, being raised in a single parent household, domestic violence, none of that. The reason why these men aren't getting married, right, is because of the court system. That's the narrative that they want to go with. It's because when a woman that you choose to be with and you choose to be in love with and y'all think you're going to live happily ever after, basically the woman begins to have this mentality where, ooh, I'm going to mess him over.
But ma'am, he's a strong, healthy black man.
No. I'm going to mess him over. And so now we get to this point here where you have men pushing this narrative where they say, I want to get married because if I choose to be with this woman and then we're like 5 to 10 years in and we decide to have a divorce, she's going to take all my money, she's going to take my house, she's going to take my car, she's going to ruin my life. Now, I think the court system is a bit more complicated than that. Then again, I don't know the particular research behind the court system and how that operates and whether or not the statistics show that men mostly suffer from divorces rather than women. However, I will say that when it comes to two things, one, divorces, and two, relationships, that these particular things should not be a cop-out for men to not get married. Every man who is at least mature and courageous should want to have a family. Every man wants to lead or to grow his lineage. They want to have a family. They want to have generations after them. Men that reflect them. Men, women that reflect them. So it's by nature for you to want to reproduce. For you to go against nature and say, I don't want to get married. I don't want to reproduce. I don't want to have a family. It's going against nature. It's going against your purpose. You know, there's an African proverb where if a man doesn't have a family, he ceases to exist. Children are the reward of life. You know, studying African history, it allowed me to see a better perspective or an even bigger perspective concerning family, concerning marriage, concerning finding that significant other and building a foundation for yourself. For you to say that you don't want to get married because of the court system is a cop-out. Because when you're concerning, you know, divorcing and the reasons for divorcing, you know, whatever the case may be, it all goes down to who are you marrying? It all goes down to why are you getting married? Do y'all know each other as well as you think you do? And, you know, for most people, when they say that they are getting married, most of these people come from single parent households. Most of them don't have a particular example or they never been shown an example growing up to where they can say, okay, I want a relationship like that. Oh, you see, my grandfather and my grandmother, my mother and my father were together. So I'm going to find a woman and I'm going to replicate that same stronghold that they had. You don't find, and I'm not going to say it's not common, but for the men, majority of the men who are pushing this narrative, never seen that type of relationship growing up. They weren't raised in households with a man and a woman, and they had a strong masculine figure in their life. You know, not even just with the father, but with the uncle and with the grandfather. You know, some of them weren't given that motherly love by their grandmother, their aunties, or their mother themselves, or their grandmother. You know, they weren't given that example. So they lead on with this narrative, I don't want to get married. I find it also fascinating, the same men that want to accuse women of following a narrative on social media are also the ones following narratives on social media as well. You want to point the fingers at women when they say that men are trash because of what they see on social media, but you get inspired by something that you see on social media where a white man, you know, gets messed over by his wife, and now you over here like, oh, that's why I ain't getting married. It's beyond me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to get our narrative on one accord. You can't be over here pointing fingers at women and saying that women are being conditioned by society, they're being conditioned by social media, and you got three fingers pointing right back at you. In order for us to heal as a people, as black men primarily, we have to have this mindset where what we see on social media isn't the end all be all. That's not reality, that's the illusion. Most of the stuff that you see on social media is what social media wants you to see. So you can't say that you don't want to get married because of what you've seen on social media, or what you saw this man or this other man go through, or what you saw this hoe over here, or this ratchet girl over here cheating on her man, you know, being passed around, or whatever the case is. That's why I ain't getting married. That's beyond me. For one, in order for you to come to an actual decision on whether or not you want to get married, first you have to heal. If you haven't healed from childhood trauma, if you haven't healed from past relationship trauma, if you haven't healed emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, then you can't make this particular assumption that men shouldn't get married if you haven't even healed from past relationships. But until next time, I'm Taro. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what I had to say, if you did not like what I had to say, let all your thoughts and comments be known in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm Tyrone. Again, thank you for watching this video. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with other people. Until next time, I'm Tyrone, and I am out.
Boys make babies. Men take care of them. That's the definition. One more comment here. I mentioned earlier in our past workshop on the peer group. Let me share with you here this dichotomy where you have the mental over here and you have the physical over here. You see, a real problem is our boys have a difficult time finding a balance in the middle. I mentioned earlier homosexuality, and the figure is 1 of every 9 men in this country are homosexuals. It's going to increase. And the reason is because we've been so skewed to the physical, being macho, that when our boys want to be on the honor roll, they're labeled sissies. Want to be involved in fine arts? Labeled sissies. Want to be open, honest, communicative? Labeled sissies. When you label something long enough, you begin to act that way. So you have the homosexuals over here, and you have the athletes, the machos over here. Tremendous dichotomy between these two. We have got to find some men that can teach black boys the balance between the physical and the mental. There's simply too much pressure over here. It's hard to find the balance, and women can't teach this. Only a man can do this. We need more black men who can do both of these areas. Physically balanced and mentally balanced. And spiritual in the middle. Comments, questions about what is a man. We've been looking at male behavior. Any comments or questions? Yes, Gwen?
Explain what you meant by saying women raise their daughters.
We're coming to that, Gwen. Matter of fact, I think it's probably the next point. Matter of fact, it is. Praise the Lord. Let's go to the next point. See, we were looking at the active conspirators, and we were looking at what the effect that causes on us in terms of male behavior. And we may not be able to control or to change Reagan, Rockefeller, Weinberger, but your question we can change. We can look at some mothers. And I said some, not all. The rumor is that some mothers raise their daughters and love their sons. My boy always loved his mama. 40 years of age, still went home with you. That needs to stop. Your boy is not yours. He is a future husband, a future father, and needs to be raised that way. Now, what do I mean by raised? Teach your son how to cook, to make up his own bed, to clean up his own bathtub ring because you raised your daughter. On the honor roll, every marking period. Goes to church with you every Sunday, and she can cook, sew, iron, and clean. All but then we have your son. Ain't never seen an honor roll. He plays basketball all evening long. Never goes to church and can't boil a hot dog. The rumor is we have some, not all, raising their daughters and loving their sons. Now I know the historical reason. The historical reason is our societies always try to destroy black men. The lynchings. So black mothers always want to overprotect their sons. What's the reason today? I know the KKK is on the rise, but what's the reason today? Is it because your own black man didn't stay? You now replace your man with your son. Your son is not yours. He's a future husband, a future father, and needs to be raised that way. Quit telling these 9-year-old boys they're the man of the house. Ain't no 9-year-old boy ready to be no man of the house. But because you told him that, he now begins to wonder. When you then bring over your man for the evening, Mom, I thought I was the man of the house. Why are you bringing him over? You can't have it both ways. If he's going to be the man of the house, quit bringing your boyfriend over on Saturday nights. You know what's sad, though? These brothers think what they can do with their mamas, they can do with their teacher, their coach, and everybody else. In other words, living at home with you in a $100 pair of gym shoes, $80 pair of a Gucci handbag. In other words, these boys have mastered how to manipulate their mamas. And they think what they can do with you, they can do with everybody else. Only to find out what you let them get away with, no one else does. In other words, 90% of all teenage pregnancy programs counsel the women. We have teenage pregnancy running rampant. But as far as the last time I looked, it took 2 to make a baby. But 90% of the programs let the brothers off the hook. The real question is, who is going to teach black boys to be responsible? And you don't starve when he makes a baby. In other words, the real question is, who's going to teach black boys to be responsible for his personal hygiene, for his clothes, for his chores, for his room, for his siblings, for his allowance, for his studies, for his toys, for his schedule, and then his sex life. You don't start responsibility at 16. It starts very early. For example, when I was growing up, my father opened up a mutual fund account for me. And every year on my birthday, he explained to me, this is how much money you have in your account. But if you make a baby, all your money is going to take care of your child. Should it be any different? If I enjoy making it, should I also take care of it? So my oldest son, who was 15, I've been doing the same thing with him, the 9-year-old and the 15-year-old. So he told me last year, he said, Daddy, this money looks so good to me. I just decided I'm not ever making me a baby. I'm keeping all my money to myself. But the point is, the boy understands responsibility. He understands if I make a baby, you will take care of it. There are mothers who know their son impregnated some girl on the same block, and they say, well, you know, boys will be boys. Yeah. They will be whatever you let them be. I want to pause now. Explain this. Why are some mothers raising their daughters and loving their sons? Did you grow up in a household where you did more work if you had a sister than your brothers did? Why is that? And you know what else I believe? I believe that child rearing has a lot to determine in marriage. In other words, marrying a mama's boy is a very critical mistake. Because they can always go back to their mamas. Son, your room is just the way it always was. Got your favorite pound of cake whenever you want to get there. It is terrible marrying a mama's boy. Comments. My water break. Give me some feedback on mothers with their sons. What do you think of my analysis?